Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So, tonight, Virgo, we have the Seven of Wands energy, okay? And we pull a card at the beginning, although you don't see me doing this. As I am setting everything up, I'll pull a card. It will kind of just give a general energy. It doesn't really always mean it's like the main energy of the reading, but it does kind of have the rippling effects. Now, the Seven of Wands is all about, in the Thoth system, valor. That's what the card is called. So, to me, I always think of this card as the standing on business card. In the Rider-Waite deck, you can, if you know what it looks like, there's a dude who has a wand and he is kind of fighting off these other 6 wands that are, you can't really see who's holding them, but they're kind of like jabbing up towards him. He is on higher ground. So if you know anything about war strategy or, battle strategy or whatever it's called, being on higher ground is the better position, because it's harder to go up towards somebody to attack than to be on top and, have a better perspective. So this card really is about, what's up, right? You know that there is, there are challenges in the world. There will be ordeals that arise, but you also know yourself. And you are a person who stands on principle. You are a person who, one of my favorite sayings in life, say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's what the energy of this card is all about. So we're going to kind of see, how does this flow into the reading with the tea leaves? And first we need to knock. It's like a polite little hello to the tea leaves. And we'll turn it over and we're going to take a look. Woo! And hopefully not drop it. And so I want to thank you for deciding to click on this reading. Right? You might have never seen a tea leaf reading before, and if you are one of the brave that are taking your first look, your first gaze at a tea leaf bowl reading, figuring out what the heck's going on here, what is she looking at, right? Welcome. I appreciate you, and if you are returning to the channel, if you've been here for, the last couple of years, welcome back. Welcome home. It's so nice to see you again. And let's go ahead. We're going to get started. I already see the first formation. I don't even have to spin the bowl at all because it's just so, it's in the middle. It's right in the middle here. So it looks like we have the energy of first the sun. We have the solar disc, or also the sign of God, Goddess, the divine. That is the circle impregnated with the dot. Okay, so this is potential realized. Okay, this is the full deal. Now, we also have the magician. Okay, so you can see here's the head area, here's the body, and here is the arm extended upwards. Now we have another person over here who looks like they're kind of bending down to hand something right here. And to me, it kind of looks like a fish. Okay, now if you are a seasoned veteran at Ula tea leaf readings, right? You know that the fish is all about resources. This is often related to money. I mean, that's just the world we live in, money, right? And so when I see the fish, I know that there is some emphasis on money, some emphasis on needing to make money. And in this case, it looks like to be either earning or given money for some reason. Now we have the two, it's not just the one person, we have another person behind them. Okay, and you can see, here's the head, here's the body, and here are the legs. So we have two people. We have a person receiving who is the magician. And so to me, this really reads, Virgo, as creating your own system to be able to pull in those resources. Now, what does that mean? It could be a business, it could be a side hustle, it could be, you know, you have found ways within the work that you do already, your career, your job, whatever it is, to continue to climb that ladder, right? To get those raises, to get those bonuses. You know, and being a Virgo, and I am also a Virgo, we're really good at not only finding our opportunities, but creating them. I feel like we're actually probably most skilled at creating our own opportunities, definitely. So I feel like, you know, us Virgos, we're like the type where you could be in a job and you want some kind of upward movement. There's no positions open. So guess what? We create our own, right? We kind of pitch a whole other, you know, job title, a whole other set of responsibilities, you know? We're really good at kind of doing these kinds of things. But I really feel like in this situation, there's almost a sense of, really kind of, because we have the magician, it feels much more like this is something you've been working on privately. And I'm trying to like go through the images here. Something almost like, I don't know, like you've seen something that you notice that people need, right? Like there's a gap of like some kind of consumer product or something that, you know, you're like, wow, what if we had this? Or if you could add this to it, that would make it better. You know, and this kind of thinking, this innovation. And I feel like there's almost like a sense of like even considering, like, how do we make a prototype? How can we get this out here? You know, what is the course of action to get this thing moving, you know? And it might even be, you know, not so much like an object, it could be, but it could be something online. It could be even like you're thinking of new ways to make content. I mean, last night, my husband and I, and again, I'm a Virgo, so this kind of coincides with my own experience, but my husband, shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My husband, Paul, over there is wonderful. Go check him out if you've never watched his tarot readings if you've never watched them before. If you have, just go back over and check out some more. But we have, you know, we've talked over the last while, you know, probably on both of our channels about starting other channels. Like I have been working on a guided meditation channel for 1.5 years. Forgive me though, it's taken a while because, you know, we moved and have these studios we had to set up, and I have a kid, and I run a house, and I run a business, and, you know, it's just a lot of stuff going on. Also, I've been on a big health journey this year, so that's been a big thing too. But yeah, we were talking about doing a channel where we're doing readings together, and we're starting to think about how are we going to build out a studio that will, you know, we'll both be able to use, you know, together and have it set up the way that we want. So, and what that content is kind of going to look like, right? And so, you know, I feel like you're also in this place where you're thinking about how am I going to grow this portion of my life, right? And you're really good at observing people, seeing like what they need. I always say this about Virgos, and I know we all kind of roll our eyes because it's like, I don't want to take care of everybody else. I don't want to run everything and have to do all this stuff. But we're really good at anticipating. We're really good at coming in and sussing things up and thinking, okay, I better run and get some ice because that's getting low. We need some more of this. We need some more of that. I'm going to fill this up, oh, I see, Auntie Junie over there. I better go and run and make sure that there's like something that doesn't have any shellfish in it or, whatever. It's like we're just really good at noticing all the little stuff, right? And so I do feel like you beginning your own thing, you seeing like a little niche or a little space to get in there and kind of carve out your own business, your own vision. Absolutely. And with that magician energy, with the solar disc in the middle, which, oh my gosh, that is so important, right? Because you have the full support of the sun, right? That energetic energy that brings life to all things here on this little rock that we live on, right? So to be able to harness that energy into the work that you're doing, I can see the money coming in. I can see people handing over their money to you to do the thing that you are good at, right? Or, whatever it is that you're producing or so on and so on. So I really see this as being the beginning of something big for you. Once you begin a business, now, not all of them succeed, right? We've all had some failures, I imagine. I know I have, for sure. But once you get to that thing that starts to gain some traction, and that's something that you did, I don't care if you are cooking plates and selling them in the neighborhood, right? Not cooking the actual plate. If you're cooking meals, making up plates and selling them like on, Marketplace or something, or if you are opening like a car dealership, you know what I mean? Like, these things, they're relative. It's all relative. And it's not always the bigger the better, right? Sometimes we really find our groove in these places where it's like you have like a little cottage bakery, or, maybe you start like, like braiding hair, or, whatever it is. These things can turn into something that you love, something that you're good at, something that, it's work. I'm not going to lie to you and say like it's easy. Just because you love something doesn't mean the work is any less difficult, but you might enjoy it more, right? You might not be completely disgusted every morning thinking, I have to go give my life to this thing all day long, right? Because it's yours. And a lot of us have to do it on the side as well. So I know it's a lot more work, but you know what? When you figure out your deal, your thing that really kind of feeds your spirit, absolutely stick with it, grow it. It's worth it. I promise. Now, we're going to turn this thing here, and it looks like we have maybe the name like Henry. I don't know, Henry, that's what I'm reading it as, Henry. Or some variation right in here. We also have, let's see, I'm going to look at it right here. That solar energy. You know what? And it always shows up in my readings for myself and for Virgo. I just the other day was trying to be funny, and we were driving towards the west, right? And the sun was going down. It was in the evening, so the sun was just like right in my eyes. And I'm short. I'm like 5'1", 5'1", somewhere in there. And so I'm short, and the visor doesn't really help that much all the time. And I said, of course, it's always the sun, my least favorite of the energies, right? And I haven't spent a lot of time in like heliocentric mythologies and this kind of thing, because I'm not super interested in solar as far as symbolic energies, personally, on a personal level. And then it's like, haha, I'm gonna show up everywhere. You're just gonna have to be one with the solar energy. And so here it is. Now, we also have, it looks like two people here. One with the little either wizardy hat, witch hat maybe, practitioner, no doubt, right? Probably representative of us, Virgo. You can't tell me that every Virgo I've ever met is so magical. Has just like these innate abilities, and a lot of it I think it's like the clairvoyance. That's the thing. And I think that's really tied into our ability to anticipate not only people, but just general situations. And so I'm seeing that you have some kind of partner. Okay, it almost kind of looks like a wolf person to me, and kind of maybe it almost is like a this old kind of archetype of the weird or the witch, right? And having some kind of familiar, some kind of animal counterpart. And I'm not saying that you have necessarily a dog or an animal companion or counterpart, although it could be that, right? I feel that you have somebody in your life who I don't even know that this is like a romantic. It feels even more like platonic, but a good friend, a very good friend, somebody that you would call family. Right? And they might even be blood family, but it feels almost like you've chosen this person. It's like a double layer of, we're in each other's lives, we're important to each other, but I've also chosen you to be part of my spirit family, and vice versa, okay? So I feel like you have this kind of really grounding relationship, but also I feel like you both are very magically inclined. So this is maybe one of the few people in your life that you can talk to about things that, most people would be like, wait, what is that? Or what are you talking about? What the heck is going on here? But with this person, and this is driving me nuts. I'm so sorry. I have to fix it. I think I knocked it when I was I was trying to move everything. Oh my goodness, now it's gonna be, I don't know. We'll have to work with it. I don't remember. Did I have it up like that, or did I just leave it down? I'll have to look at my old readings. But anyways, I feel like, you could come to them with anything. That you've had experiences with entities or supernatural things, and they're just like, oh yeah, I met something like that, or let me tell you about my own experiences, and I feel like you just vibe deeply. And I think this is a really important relationship for you, because well, let's face it, us as Virgos, we're good at being kind of solitary beings. Like, no matter how many people we're around, even our own children, our spouses, our significant others, we can be very connected, very close, but we always have a sense of being like, do you remember that song by Bowie? It's called Space Oddity. It's about a dude that goes up into space, right? Major Tom, and he's out there all by himself, and you know the implications of the story have we don't need to go into it, but you know it's about feeling very alienated because of, right, maybe identity things or whatever your orientation might be to whatever in life, right? And so there's feeling of being out there a bazillion miles away from home, and everything that you love is at home, but you're still, you can't figure out how to bridge that gap. Like, and maybe you're not supposed to, maybe you are that explorer out there. Maybe you are that being that always has the awareness that, yes, you are a solitary, autonomous entity in this vast universe of consciousness. And though we are all connected, we are also, for whatever reason, within our own consciousness. And we perceive ourselves as being individuals. And Virgos are really, really acutely aware of this. Now, there are other signs that are less so, and there are other signs that are definitely on par with Virgos. I would say Capricorn's a big one, Aries is a big one, and so on. But I feel like even in your being kind of this, space person, a bazillion miles away from anything, you are still really good at connecting with somebody who kind of sees you, that hears you, and you see and hear them. And I don't, again, I don't necessarily read this as being romantic thing, although it could be, right? And I feel like even the older we get, I could say in real life I don't really have that many friends, if at all, really. I mean, I have people I see and hang out with a little bit, but I don't have those deep friendships that I used to have, the ones that I still retain. We all live in different parts of the world. We're still connected and we still talk, but in my day-to-day life, right? However, I do have my husband, who is my best friend, and I think the older we get, that seems to be more and more the case, right? We build our little family units and we get involved and busy and all of that, and you often do see people having their best friend being their spouse. And so that might be the case for sure. Although it doesn't have to be. I just don't read it as being like forwardly, like this is the most important part of this relationship is the romantic aspect. I'm reading this as being that kinship, right? That safety, that union. There's like a soul bond there. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at here is we have a ring. Okay. Okay. So we have a ring. We also have the word joke. 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 And the ring is up here. But we also have a baby up there. I just have this big feeling of disillusionment. I feel like you maybe were in or are in or maybe you really struck out against it. I don't know. Maybe you did the opposite. But there's a feeling of trying to put family first, even in a situation where you were not happy, right? Like maybe you started a family with somebody, you had a child with somebody, and it was not the right person, right? I mean, these things happen more often than not, I feel like, you know, and I'm only laughing, not to be cruel or anything, but it's wild. The decisions that sometimes we make with the people that we get involved with, right? And although for me, I was lucky, I had a child with somebody who is a beloved, amazing person. You know, I've had relationships that are like, whoa, what was I thinking? What the heck? You know, like, oh my gosh, dude. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we all have one or two of those. So sometimes, you know, it ends up that we are entangled for a lifetime, right? So the kid, but there is a feeling of like maybe trying to stick it out. Even though, you know, you're busy, you're tired, there's family stuff, there's life stuff, there's bills stuff. And then you're coming home to this person who maybe you don't completely detest, but man, you're not happy. You weren't happy. I don't even think this is still going on. Although if it is, you know, I love you and I feel your pain. You know, it's hard. It's hard to be with somebody that isn't right for you. But, you know, and I feel like there's an awareness there, obviously. But I think that you try to really stick it out for the betterment of the family, and you tried to be as selfless as you could. Maybe one of the downfalls of being a Virgo, you know, people I think often perceive us as being selfish and self-righteous and a know-it-all and this and that. But what's not often mentioned about Virgos is that we give so much of our time, our energy, our love to people that we care about. You know, we are very much caretaking people. We very much are concerned with the wellness of our families, of our, you know, direct communities. And even the people like that we work with, our acquaintances, and you know, we really are people who think about others a lot, you know, and oftentimes we'll go out of our way to, you know, make sure that somebody's okay or be helpful to them. And this is not often emphasized about us Virgos, but it is very real. Now, we might have an attitude while we're doing it, but we'll do the dang thing, right? So, you know, I feel like for you, there is a sense of, I feel relief as I'm thinking about this. So to me, it feels like something that maybe is already over. This maybe is ancient history, really. But I do feel like you have prioritized being very aware and discerning of people now. Because you have gone through situations that, you know, were not enjoyable, were not comfortable, were not beneficial to you ultimately. And not on a deep level either. Right? There's the other thing about us. We like to connect very deeply with people. And so when we have these kind of superficial and worldly relationships, it does not fulfill us. It does not. And we might even begin to really resent the person because we seek that deeper connection, that ability to meet and access each other on a very deep level. Okay, on a spiritual level, psychic level. And so, you know, I feel like this is something that wants to be mentioned. You know, I think that it's something that has informed you as a being. And really, ultimately, in my opinion, anyways, whatever that's worth, it really does inform your character, because you're not somebody who just gives up. You're not somebody who is inflexible. You're somebody who shows up, you do the best you can, and when you know that it's not right and you've tried and you've exhausted you know, your ability to partake in this thing anymore, then yeah, it's time to go, you know, it's time to get on. And so I think that this is something that it's very honorable. That's what I have to say about it. All right, we also have the number 60. Okay, and with the ring, I wonder if there's somebody that you're considering, you know, and you're kind of going back over the histories of things and thinking, I don't know. It's been hard. It's been hard out here at times, right? So, you know, just listen to yourself. Don't force yourself into anything, but also do not deprive yourself of something that might be glorious based on old news, right? Old times, back in the day, you know. Every situation is different. Every person is different. So don't let yourself like overgeneralize, you know, and it's easy to do so. I already, you know, I already know. I feel it. But you might be lucky, because I was done. Before I met my husband, I thought, nah, never again. I was like to the point where I went and lived in a very, I mean, literally solitary situation. I had my cats and I had myself. And I would go weeks without seeing other people, right? Sometimes, you know, when I was working, obviously I had to go out in the world. But I would have times where I wasn't working, you know, for a couple weeks or whatever. And I would just not even talk to people. I wouldn't talk to people. I wouldn't see people. I was in my own universe. And I thought, you know, it would take a miracle to pry me out of this. I just don't want to. I like being alone. I like doing my own thing. I like, you know, just kind of exploring the far reaches of my imagination and my magic, and, you know, reading and writing and making stuff and whatever. I was very far out there, you know. And then I met this guy, and I said no for 2 years. 2 years. You know, and then we got together. He moved in immediately, and a couple weeks later, we were pregnant and then married. So you never know. You never know. And, you know, and I don't say that to brag or anything. We have our problems just like anybody else, and, you know, I'm pointing at myself. It's usually me. But, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing what the universe will put in your way. So don't refrain from, try not to anyways. Just paint it all in one thing. No, forever no, or forever these are, you know, I'm never going to date again. I'm never going to meet anybody again. I'm never this, never that. I understand it. And all that said, if for some reason I don't stay married, never again. I'm never doing it. So I might have to rethink all that. So anyways, we have the house. And the house, it feels to me very full. Or at least coming up, where there's a chance of visitors. It feels like you're inviting somebody in to stay a while, okay? Now, we also have a person who is out there it looks like taking a walk. It feels like calling out to a bird. So I do feel like there's maybe a sense of things getting too busy, too full within the household. Maybe literally, maybe it's like the if you're in the northern hemisphere, we're in, right in the winter. It's maybe not super cold where you are, but yeah, we all kind of feel stuffed up inside, right? We're all kind of ready for the sun to come out and go, I don't know. To me, I took my daughter to the park the other day. That was super fun. It felt like spring for a minute, and it lifted my spirits, okay? So I feel like there's a sense of that, like getting out, being able to just breathe and take it all in. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, maybe it's been really hot. Hopefully, I haven't looked at the news in Australia, or, really a lot of other places. We're all locked into the American news right now. It's wild, as you all know, if you're from here or not. But, I know that there are a lot of, it's like fire season in a lot of places and stuff. So, hopefully none of that. Hopefully you are getting through this season without lots of things going on, with the weather and environment and stuff. But, I know it's probably really hot. So as it cools down a little bit, that ability to just go out there and breathe and not be like totally worn out immediately, just being able to take it all in. And so I feel like this is coming soon, right? To all of us everywhere, hopefully. And I feel like it's really a calling of being out of doors, being in the, fresh air, really getting your hands in the dirt, touching grass, drinking water. No, doing all the things that we know as very earthy people we need to do. Okay, so that, I also think that there's really a sense of, with that cluttery feeling, I feel like there's a sense of letting go of some stuff. And I mean this like literally. Maybe cleaning out some closets, or, starting to thin out some of the old things, cleaning up all the stack of mail, or, for me, I got to do the pantry. The pantry is it's atrocious right now. So I got to clean up the pantry, get it reorganized, that kind of stuff. So I feel like being proactive for us Virgos is so important, right? Not just sitting in the feeling, but letting ourselves, do something about it. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to roll the die. We have 100. So we have 3 lucky numbers every reading. So 100 is the first one. Now we have the number 19. Okay, 100, 19, and 29. And 29. Wonderful. Now, we have our self-care affirmation cards. I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. And we have here wanderlust of spirit. And that is the lust to wander, right? The love of wandering. I follow my spirit on its wanderlust, guided by the intuition and character. I trust myself to journey freely. I follow my spirit on its wanderlust, guided by intuition and character. I trust myself to journey freely. I trust myself to journey freely. All right. Well, Virgo, I'm going to tell you I love you. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I just want to say again, I love you. Thank you for being here. Please take care of yourself. Make sure that you are washing your hands. It is fully flu season still. Although it seems like it's getting a little bit better in my area. Maybe that's just because I haven't been sick for almost 2 weeks. Knock on wood. Hopefully you all are doing well and staying away from it all. But you know what? When you have kids, especially younger ones, man, they just bring it all home, don't they? Every germ. Every germ. So yeah, just keep washing your hands, taking care of yourself, making sure you're getting enough sleep, drinking your water, getting your fresh air, your intentional movement, and don't forget those self-affirmations, letting yourself know how awesome you truly are, because you are, Virgo. You're awesome. So anyways, love you. We'll talk in a few days. Good night. Good night.